Hello, this is Bud, and welcome to the very first installment of the Pickleball Crew's weekly podcast. The podcast features four pickleball fanatics and the occasional guest who sit around and discuss all things pickleball in and around the Gulf Coast area. As I said, we are shooting for a weekly podcast and encourage all of you who have taken the time to listen to us to give us your comments, and if you are really passionate, let us know and we will have you on as a guest. For the time being, we get together remotely, but we are toying with the idea of meeting in one place. Our podcasters are Vicki Wynn, Ken Wynn, Jeff Fuchsia, and yours truly, Bud Klein. And now, here we go. Well, Ken, since you're so immersed in pickleball today, why don't you start off and tell us how you got into pickleball and where you're at today?
So in the summer of 2018, I think it was August, it was really hot. And I was in the middle of playing USTA tennis. We were members of PAC. And one of our tennis players said, hey, since it's so hot to play outside, let's go over to Pelican Park in the white gym. They've got this game I want to introduce you to. It's called pickleball. So we said, okay, let's go. And it was around noon. It said on Sundays from noon to 5 or something like that, they play. So we went over there. We didn't have paddles. Some of our friends had a paddle, but we borrowed their wooden paddles. We had to go to the desk and, present an ID and get those wooden paddles. And we were there for about 2 or 3 hours playing and really had a good time. But again, I was pretty immersed in tennis at the time. And I think we might have played once or twice more that year. And in the following year, 2019, when they started playing pickleball at PAC, Vicky started going on a regular basis. And I went a couple times. But when the courts opened in either August or September of 2019 at Pelican Park, that's when we started going every Saturday. And that's kind of when we met Alexis, the Browns, Gary, a few others that, we started to become friends with and started to play games with. And that's kind of when I got hooked on it. 2019 was the last year that I played USTA tennis. And starting in January of 2020, I was strictly nothing but pickleball and been playing a little over 3 years now. I can play 4, 5, even six times a week. So I've really enjoyed it, and we're hooked. We got certification through PPR, which is the Professional Pickleball Registry, in November of 2022, and put together a proposal to Pelican Park, and we've been kind of under contract since February this year of 2023 as coaches at Pelican Park. And just going through that whole process of being certified as a coach really has helped our games a lot. Plus the fact that we do spend a good amount of time looking at drills and just watching pro players, reading articles, and that has all really helped our game to slowly evolve to where it is today. We still just love playing. So that's where I am.
And Vicki, you kind of followed Ken into the rink. Tell us your experience.
Ken just stole all of your thunder.
Yeah. Gonna let you go first.
I'll just say ditto.
He covered it very well.
Actually, I did play a good bit that spring and summer leading into before Pelican Park opened up. And I just kept telling him over and over and over, you need to get back out here. We need to get back out there together. This is, a great sport. We're going to love it. I got hooked pretty early on, and and the rest is history. I mean, when he asked me about going to get trained as a certified coach, my initial reaction was no. Just no, I don't think so. That's not for me. You do it because I think you're going to be fabulous at it. And even though I had been running drill groups um, and really enjoying that, doing a lot of research with the drills and everything, I just didn't know and didn't think it was for me. But he convinced me by telling me that it's going to make a difference even in my own game. And I'm very grateful that he said that and that I went. I did the training. It did make a difference in my own game, and just gave me so much more to look forward to. And we really have enjoyed teaching out at Pelican Park. I didn't think my level of passion could grow any more for the sport or for the love of drills, and it has. And so it was really inspirational. I'm real grateful for that. So other than my injury right now, I am, I'm out there playing left-handed, so you know how passionate I am about the sport.
That's how you tell a true pickleballer.
That's right.
Okay. Jeff?
I think it's been about 5 years ago. Several times I had come home here from working down in Venice, and my wife said the first time that anything was said to me about it, she said, there's a group of people that are playing this game up at the school gym here in Livingston. And I was like, well, what is it? She said, it's pickleball. And I had no clue what it was. I envisioned like older people playing some sort of croquet or something, some silly game. I just had no clue about it. And in my own way, I was like, no, I don't have time. So she asked me about 3 times, and I always had made up something to do. Finally, I think it was like the 4th time we went up there, and we walked in. They had 3 courts set up, 3 nets, and we started playing that night. And I was like, man, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And started really getting into it, playing at least once a week with them. Back then, it was difficult to find places to play. So we played there with them. And then some good friends of ours, Donnie and Louise Quezada, they live right here in Livingston. They introduced me to Pards, and that's where I met Howard. And then I started going to Pards and playing with Howard and them, and it just kind of injected another level into it. Really got to know Howard really well. And I was thinking then, I was like, man, this is awesome. I've got something to exercise, which I needed at the time, but it's also a lot of fun and it's competitive. So played with Howard and him quite a bit, and then just started branching out. I think I met Ken and Vicky at Ponchatoula one day. Y'all were playing with Kenny Verbeen and
Kimberly.
Yeah.
And that's when they were playing a good bit, which I think they're still playing some. But so I met y'all there, and after I got to know Ken and Vicky, then we started talking about, hey, because I figured out within the first 6 months, the key to getting better at this thing is if you can do drills and hit off of a ball machine and try to get people together, but it's difficult. But me and Ken and Vicky talked about it, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. Well, I think we talked about it for, I don't know, Vicky helped me, 4 to 6 months.
4 months is what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay. And then finally one day we said, hey, let's quit talking about it and let's do it. And I don't even remember how many we had at that first drilling session, but that small drilling session grew exponentially really quick to 30 or 40 people. That's where the, and that gave us some, we had a regiment, and I think all of us started seeing, and I mean, we're not the greatest players in the world, but we are way better than when we started.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we saw the important, I could just see my game growing And back then I thought, well, a couple years and this thing will level out, but it hasn't leveled out. I think if you're willing to put in the work with the drilling and include, it's important to drill and then go play, see where you're at.
Yep.
And I think all four of us have just kind of fallen in love with drilling and seeing how much it's helping our game. So that's kind of my story of where I got to where I'm at. And it's now, I mean, I just love it.
I hear you.
So many good people.
I actually started playing about 7 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer than that. The first time I played was at Crossgates, and there was a group of people that played there every Wednesday night, and that's where I got started. And then I met Linda Neal, who came and played there frequently.
Really good player.
She introduced me to a group that played at Trinity Lutheran Church in Covington. And for reasons I don't want to go into because I don't like bashing people, but I got really fed up with it and I quit. And then about 3 years ago, I found the people at John Slidell Gym and I started playing with those folks. And then I was playing on Sundays at the White Gym at Pelican Park. In the last year and a half, I have grown to really love pickleball, and it's really because of you three, without realizing it. The drilling has improved my game to the point where I just love to go play. I love to do the things that I learned to do in the drills, and it's improved my game. I know exponentially. I know I'm at least 5 times a better player than I was a year ago. Not to take any thunder away from you two guys, but really, it's Vicky. I mean, she is amazing at the drill, leading the drills. I mean, it's incredible what it's done for me anyway.
For the 3 people that are going to watch this, hopefully,
well, 4, we're all going to watch it.
Wait, yeah, all 4 of us.
Right. All 4 of us anyway.
But no, in all seriousness, if you're serious, and I think there's a lot of people that are kind of serious about wanting to improve their game. They need to find people of their own skill level and just organize it and start somewhere. Start somewhere with some simple drills, just dinking a bunch, third shot drops. Let somebody organize it and meet out there, or when you meet to play, before you play, give it 30, 45 minutes of just drilling. We hit a couple of thousand balls every time we drill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure,
and
yeah.
You cannot replicate that in 3 hours of rec play.
No.
That's right.
You just can't.
Nope.
So it's just, I'm just saying that, I mean, when we first started out at Pelican Park, the level of play was down 2.5, I don't know, average 2.5, 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
And we have watched that group, not just the ones that are drilling with us, but others that play a lot out there. Now it's up to 4.0, probably 4.0 or a little below that average. Yep. And it's because of, because of what was done out there, just kind of creating a little habitat. And Vicky, I'll toot your horn too. You've taken what we've done and you've kind of put it on steroids because I had to get out because it got too big. 2, I didn't have the time to come over there. But then you kind of picked up a couple of years ago, and y'all been steady, twice a week, most weeks for quite some time.
Right.
And for me, when I don't have anything else going, I'm gonna be there. I hated missing it yesterday.
Right. Yeah, we really have enjoyed it a lot. And I mean, one of the big things was when we first started out was I knew I had to put progression into it somehow. I knew how to just get us started and do the drills the way we've always done those drills, but perfect them and get them to a
and
point
get
where
better at it.
everybody felt comfortable with the basics. And until we got those basics down as a group and everything, it was like, I'm not going to push. I'm not going to push. But we've come so far that it challenges me each week. And I love it to figure out how to kick up these drills another notch, how to turn it more game-like, because now you can feel even that much more ease of taking these drills straight into a match. People see it, they feel it, and they're using it in their games. And that's just wonderful to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Ken, why don't you give us a little update on what's going on in the area?
Well, the first thing let's talk about is local tournaments. So in June, we've got on June 2nd through 4th, it looks like there's a tournament at North Cyprus, and that can be Googled on the North Cyprus Facebook page or Paddles Up Pickleball Facebook page. That same weekend, there's also a tournament. Frankie Spence, I think, is putting it back on in Natchez, Mississippi. And we actually played in that tournament a year ago. That was a fun time. I skipped one. The last weekend, Memorial Day weekend in May, Jeff has just brought to our attention that, trying to remember the name of it. It's the
YMCA?
Meet Your Match at
Yeah.
the Zachary YMCA. It's the Meet Your Match. It's a mixed doubles only tournament, $40 a person. You can contact Jace Rigdon through email or his phone number. It'll be from late afternoon or late morning to early afternoon mixed doubles. And that's May 27th. Also getting back to June 6th through the 11th in Opelika, Alabama is the Atlantic South Diamond Regionals. If you haven't played in this one's starting to fill up, and some of the divisions are already full.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't played at a tournament in Opelika, it's 24 courts under a cover, 2 sets of 12 courts, and it's just a beautiful facility. It's only about a 5-hour drive from the North Shore. July 15th, there is Dinking in the Dark. It's going to be at Pelican Park. I don't know they haven't actually opened registration yet. It's going to be in the gym. It's going to be where they turn the lights down, and there's I guess they use black lights or fluorescent colors,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of play on the indoor courts. So that's
Pelican Park is putting that on?
That's July 15th. Pelican Park is putting that on. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Then August 4th through 6th is the Big Easy tournament that's at the Hilton. It's the 6th annual. If you haven't played in that one, it's the tennis courts on, I think, the 5th floor of the Hilton. So it's an outdoor surface, but obviously indoors. And they always do a real good job putting that on. A great shirt, well organized, very competitive events.
Yeah, and good. There's a good viewing. I like the viewing there from up above.
Yeah, there's a center spine walkway where you can view the courts from above. And there's a little bit of room to go down courtside to watch a few of the matches. Then late August 23rd through 27th in Foley, Alabama, is the Gastric Cancer Foundation charity tournament. That's at the Foley Event Center. That'll be an indoor tournament. So when it's hot in August, that's another good tournament to go to. That's really a nice facility to play.
Yeah, that's a really nice facility too. Yes.
And then October, we're chock full of tournaments. We've got the week of the 7th, 8th. We have both the Pelican Park Pickle Pink and the St. Francisville appears to be happening the same weekend. That's unfortunate, but I think as we get more and more tournaments in the area, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But we're having more people participating in tournaments. So hopefully all the tournaments can go on and have a nice attendance. Then the week of October 14th, 15th is Vicksburg, Mississippi. And then finally in October, the 27th through the 29th is the annual Hollow Wheel in Baton Rouge, a great charity tournament. And so we'll stop at October at this point. But does anybody have one that I missed that they want to add?
No, I just want to mention to follow up with the tournaments and everything. I actually compiled a little list that I'm going to go through as quickly as I can, but I'm going to encourage everyone to like and follow these pickleball sites and groups. There's so much good information on there. And if you ever have questions on tournaments, you need more information from tournament directors, anything like that, people are always willing to help you. If you're just going and you're traveling to another area and you need to know where to play, these again are going to be all great sites for you to visit, to reach out and find out those times when they have open play and when the best groups are out there. But I'm just going to mention them. Please go online and go on Facebook and like and follow these. It's Pelican Park Pickleball Club, North Shore Pickleball, Let's Go Pickleball, Pickleball of Greater Baton Rouge, Pickleball in the AP, which is Ascension Parish, Hattiesburg Pickleball, MS Gulf Coast Pickleballers, Gulf Coast Pickleballers, Pops Ferry Pickleball, Pops Ferry Pickleballers, North Cypress Fitness Pickleball, Ponchatoula Recreation Park, and Cross Gates Pickleball. And if I've forgotten anyone, forgive me, but let us know. Drop a little line on the bottom of this and let us know, and we'll give it a little plug. But just my little encouragement for you to get on there and like them, because again, questions can get answered. You can find information on tournaments. It's really been very, very helpful.
Yeah, and we want to support all of those different places. So many opportunities for different people to play, and you got all different levels in pickleball. People need to find their spot. Find your spot. Get out there and get to meeting some people. Hopefully, you end up meeting some folks in your same skill level and form your little group and have there's just you just named about 10 places where people can go play.
That's right. I mean, and just not that long ago, it seems like we had a busload of folks from, where was it, Minnesota, I think? 30 something people coming, and the way that they reached out and found out where to go was through Facebook, through
Really?
North Shore Pickleball, and I think Crossgate. So just by throwing it out there, they found their way to Pelican Park. So we enjoyed having them.
All right, Jeff, you wanted to talk about a few things you've noticed on the court, so take it away.
Yeah, people put a lot of focus on their stroke mechanics and, I hit that ball wide, I hit that ball deep, I hit that ball in the net. A lot of what I'm seeing, I'm thinking that it's more, we should be asking ourselves, all right, two things. Did we hit the right shot? And very importantly, were we in the right position? I see people standing on the baseline for serves and returns. That's an easy way for good players with good, strong returns to get that ball down at your feet and make it really difficult on you. We know that deep serves and deep returns in pickleball are very important. So we want to try to counteract that. If we know good players are trying to do that to us, get back off of that baseline. Gauge the players that you're playing against. If you know it's a player that has a strong serve, strong return, get back. That's one area that I see. Another area that I see where there could be a lot of improvement popping up in pickleball. There's not a game that we don't play where somebody pops the ball up. So how we react to that, and I don't want to say it's a bad thing. It's not good, but you can exasperate the problem. If my partner pops up, if I don't retreat and get back off of that line and give myself some reaction time, the point's probably going to end pretty quick. And then as you're fighting as you move back and you're trying to fight your way back in, you may have to put the ball up in the air again to give you and your partner some time to get situated and then back up again. I see players, we talk all the time about, man, get up to the line. But then once they get to the line, they feel like they've reached their destination. That's just a place that you go play some, and then through the point, you can back off of that and then come back up, back off again. Always, if I feel threatened, I'm backing up to give myself some reaction time, watching what my shot or my partner shot does. So I don't know. Do y'all have, Vicky, do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, I think the key right there was just what you said, and that's watching your partner's shot, and being aware. It's reading shots that are coming back to you, the biggest thing that I see in that scenario is just people not being in a ready position, not knowing when to stop moving, or it is a matter of where to be, but it's also to quit moving and be ready for that next shot. Have some plan in place of where you're going to put that next shot if it's coming to you. So I think we hear a lot about being reactionary instead of intentional, and I think that's, as your game progresses, that's something that you can work towards, is definitely being able to read that ball, read the shots, and then being a little more intentional about what you're doing, to not just, hit a great shot, but it may also be to set up your partner. Another thing I see a lot is people just either admiring their partner's great shots and not
Or
thinking, or their own, and not being prepared and not thinking it's going to come back. Jeff Bourne always says, and it's my favorite, any shot is a first shot of a 2-shot sequence. And I love that he taught us that, because it is very, very true. And if you keep that in the back of your mind, you'll always be thinking to be ready for that next shot, and trying to think ahead. Mm-hmm.
Well, think about this scenario. The ball is, we serve the ball, they come back to us with a return, and then me and my partner are hitting a third shot. Say we're trying a third shot drop. I hit my third shot drop too high. Okay, that's a problem. But if my partner goes in or is standing in the transition zone, or even back a little further between the transition zone and the baseline, then he is exasperating the problem that I created first, instead of trying to help us to defend against that. So as soon as I see my third go high or my partner's third go high, I'm getting back, because the other team is fixing to crush the ball at you. And whichever player is up front, Ken, that's the player we want to attack, right?
Right.
We want to go at that player.
That's common in rec play. You'll find the second an attempted third shot drop is made, that some players are automatically moving, instead of reading the shot, they're automatically moving in to that no volley zone. And it's whether they're taught that, hey, I've got to get to that no volley zone as quick as possible. You've really got to read your third shot drop and your partner's third shot drop, if that's the shot that's made, and make sure it's the shot to move in on.
And maybe Vicky, that's on us as coaches, because I know I'm guilty of it. I talk a lot about get to the line, get to the line, get to the line. I don't talk as much about, hey, put that thing in reverse and get back off of that line.
Right.
And
how to know when. How to know the when is such a big thing. It truly is.
Well, and I think it's a key to get your body in the right spot, depending on where the ball goes, and I think if people would focus on that more so than, my shot went wide, I hit it in the net, this and that. I think especially at intermediate levels, it could really send your game to the next level quickly if you focus on that.
Absolutely. And I think that part of that too is working in that transition zone as heavily as we've been doing, with just trying to move up to that next level. It was clear as a bell, for us. It was like the first thought coming off the court is, oh, we've got to work on our blocks. We've got to work on that transition zone. We've got to work on not getting caught in that middle or being able to defend when we do. So
there was a scenario today. I was playing with Ben Foster, and so the ball got elevated, and me and him we're defending. We both backed up, and they went to Ben, and Ben threw it up again in the air. The other team went at Ben again. He threw it up in the air, but he got a ball that he could deal with a little better, and he kind of put it down, kind of in the kitchen a little bit, but it's still, me and him are sitting there looking at it. It got there so quick, we still didn't take off. Then the next ball they went back to him again, and then it was a ball that Ben could really deal with, and he laid that sucker up and over right in the kitchen. And as soon as the two of us saw that, we just flooded to the net.
Right.
But if we would have come on any of those 3 or 4 shots before, we'd have got burned. But we waited, and when it was right, we went.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got up to the line, we ended up in a dink battle, and we ended up winning the point. But all of that work, mainly that Ben did on that particular point, kept us in the point. Where and me and him were both positioned back off the baseline. That's how far back we were. And if you watch pro pickleball players, who none of us are ever going to be pro, but we can emulate what they're doing. They are back and forth, and just watch a pro pickleball point. As soon as the ball goes up in the air, they're in reverse, getting back to give themselves time to defend. And then they keep on. They'll stay back until they get that ball that they can put in the kitchen where they can regain that ground. Because every time you regain that ground and get back up to the net where you're in a dink battle, you're back at 50-50, and you've got a good chance at winning the point.
Right. And that's learning the patience of the game. I mean, that
there
again,
you go.
It's when you're learning and you start to feel the pressure. We've talked about this a lot of times, whether it's pressure in transition or it's pressure just in a dinking battle, but you start to feel that pressure. You start to just tighten up. The minute you tighten up, you're not playing loose pickleball, patient pickleball. And so it's really training. That's why I talk a lot about training your brain just as much as training your muscles and training everything. It's training your brain to slow the ball down. And I think that again shows his patience, Ben's patience, and being able to try to work that point for you guys to be able to move in at the right time. So,
and Ken, you could probably add something about, you
talked about
working the point.
But you talked about being in the ready position, and that's something that, that we really emphasize when working with beginners is being in a ready position. But a lot of times on a return of serve, I think most people are expecting, and most people serve the same serve over and over, and the returner is almost in the same position to return the serve over and over. So if you just move your returner, 1 or 2 steps to the right or 1 or 2 steps to the left, sometimes that's an easy point, because people aren't always in an athletic stance in a ready position waiting for a serve to come, wide or to either side. They're really expecting a repeat of that same previous serve.
Right.
So being in a ready position, both as a returner server and then after serving the ball, making sure you're in a ready position for the return of serve coming back to you.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that point up, because it's something that I was struggling with probably 6 to 8 months ago, still working on it, but I've gotten it a lot better. Split stepping and getting in that ready position, not as the other team is hitting the ball, but split step right before. I was split stepping because I had been told to do it and I had seen videos to do it, but my timing was off. I was split stepping about the time they were hitting the ball. And a lot of times I was late. Now, I don't care where I'm at on the court. Most of the time as they're drawing back, I'm split stepping. And then when they contact the ball, now I'm in a good athletic position wherever I'm at to try to deal with whatever it is they're coming with at me. And again, Vicky, that leads back to what you said about I'm more patient now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not rushing to get to the line. I want to get to that line, but I don't have to rush to get there.
Right.
Cindy Marsh, who is one of our really good coaches from Baton Rouge area, she describes it as sauntering to the line. And for some of our older players, you don't have to be some quick, fantastic athlete. Just take your time, pick your way up there. And then once you get up there, play up there until you feel threatened or the ball's popped up, and then stick it in reverse and go back and forth. I hope we're describing this good. I just think that it's something, especially a lot of our group at Pelican Park, if we'll start focusing on this more, I think it's really going to help all of us continue to take our games to the next level.
No doubt. I think the game is getting faster too. I mean, you start to watch, and I've just watched a tournament today, and I was amazed at how much faster it felt to me. It's getting faster and faster and faster. So you don't have a whole lot of time to work your paddle from holding it in a downward position to up here. You just don't anymore. And I think that's the big thing to get through them too, is, we work on that a lot. We work on holding the paddle up front, hitting the ball out front. Don't wait till it's too late, and then you don't have control over how you're hitting it. The other thing is, like you say, is being patient, learning that patience, to read it, to watch it, to know what to do it, understand where your partner is and what you should be doing to help your partner. It is a very, very brainy game. I tell everybody there's a lot to think about as you're playing it, but there are some true basics, and being in a ready position just is one of them, and keeping that paddle in a ready position.
Yeah. And Vicky, go ahead, Ken.
No, a lot of times you really don't have time to swing, and even taking a small swing, it just increases your level of error. Just holding your paddle out and meeting the ball and redirecting the ball back over, and not trying to take a swing. So
that is one of the things that's really helped me more than anything. I'm pretty quick as it is, but learning to keep my paddle up and in front of me has enabled me to stay in hard volley points a lot better than I used to. I might be able to get one back. Now I can sit there.
Always expecting fast, bud. Yeah. Always, if you're expecting fast, and the ball comes slow, you're good. But if you're expecting slow and the ball comes fast, you're done. You're toast.
Yep, I agree.
You're toast. So,
but you're right, Bud. I've seen you in some battles, and then even have the time to do your roll and put the ball away. Some real good fast battles you're doing amazingly well with. You truly are. It's that paddle being there and being ready.
Yeah. And Vicky, you reminded me of one other thing a while ago when you were talking. Another indicator for me to get back off of that net and get ready to play defense is if I'm watching my partner and I see that the other team has really stressed him or her with some sort of shot that sends them wide, or, they're scrambling, they're on their back foot, and the balls, that's an indicator to me. Instead of, I see that they're in trouble, and then I see their shot, then I try to move. When I see they're in trouble, I'm getting back.
Right.
I'm getting back. So, it's kind of like read the room, read what's happening, and try to play checkers chess instead of checkers, and get that jump to get back. If I'm playing with you, Vicky, and I see you in good balance, and you're up there, you're hitting that drop shot out in front of you, I'm not panicking there or trying to get back on defense. I know you're good. So that's another tip that people can tap into. You see your partner in trouble, that's a sign to rally the troops and get back. Move your line of attack back a little bit and play some defense and try to get back into the point.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just to add to that, you kind of don't want to be moving while they're hitting. You want to, if you're going to make a move back, take a step back, but you want to reestablish yourself back into a ready position and not be running backwards, or backpedaling while they're stroking the ball. So
yeah, and that's why it's so important when we are stressed or when your partner's stressed, when you get to that ball, instead of trying to hit that, we used to call it the panic shot, Vicky, where you just get over there to it. You're there and they just hit it hard. Well, if you're in trouble and you hit it hard, the ball, now we're in real trouble. Right. But if I'm in trouble and I can go soft somewhere with it, cross court, in the kitchen preferably, second option, which would be a lob. I don't want to say just lob everything up, but sometimes a lob when you're in trouble. Get the ball up in the air where you can, at least you and your partner can get back on balance and get some semblance of a defense set up.
Right.
That's important too in defending.
That's right. And if it's a good lob, you'll make your way back and you can defend it for sure. Certainly. It gives you another chance for sure.
Certainly. At the very least, it's going to give you time to get yourself back situated, where you can try to get back into the point. So
that's right. That's right. I mean, there's so many situations like this, and that's why some of what we do in training the brain, that when you're struggling out wide to reset to the middle, if you can just even make that one transition in your game, it's going to help you out tremendously. I mean, I know I have gotten Ken in more pickles with me trying to, get into trouble and hit the ball hard rather than resetting it. And so it took me a minute to learn it myself.
You realized not only you, but several of us were having problems with those balls. That's why you set up a specific drill for that. Mm-hmm. And we would send the ball wide and make sure we were talking to each other about, okay, you're getting there. Now send it back softly back into the middle to reset and regather the point.
That's right.
We've worked on that.
Back situated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've worked on that, and I've seen that part of it get better, for sure.
No doubt.
For sure.
Well, Jeff, that was a great topic. Court positioning and talking about just being in the ready position. I mean, these are things that you find people at all levels that we can work on and we can get better at.
Definitely.
And it's really just awareness. It's reading the shot, it's reading your partner, and reading your opponents, and just trying to make the right decision. But and drills can be very helpful in simulating some of these circumstances so that we feel a little more comfortable come game time, that we take that that extra gulp, we take that extra half second just to kind of put the ball back into the right position for us and not panic. So that was a great topic for today. Really this has been an extension of a lot of phone calls that we've had over the years, and just being candid about things that we've encountered, things we're seeing, and just bring up topics for discussion. So we're excited to have this group chat.
Yeah, for sure. And anybody that's watching that's interested, that would like to come on with us, tell us about your pickleball experience, or just come and talk pickleball with us about, whatever stuff on the court or whatever. We're definitely not, don't feel like that we know. There's so much that we don't know, but I mean, we're kind of pickleball nerds. We've really gotten into it. We like discussing it. And so anybody that wants to come join us.
That's right. We're all learning. This is what I see all the time. You never stop learning in pickleball.
Yeah.
Right. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to the very first episode of the Pickleball Crew. And we hope to see you in the next episode. Well, that's it for the first episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave any comments and please like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks, and see you next week.